So, hello to whoever is watching this video. I would consider yourself lucky because later in my career, I will likely be upgrading this draft to a better formulated written reflection on who I am and my teaching philosophy. All right, now that that's been out of the way, I'll start off with a little introduction. My name is Mimi. It's short for Marie-Émilie. My last name is Vaillancourt. I was born in Toronto. I was raised here in Montreal. I am also currently a student at McGill and a former student at Dawson, and I'm studying to get my bachelor's in secondary English education, and I've been really enjoying the material so far, so to me that's a really good sign. All right, now before I begin on my philosophy, I'll give you a bit of background on my teaching experiences so far. There aren't many yet, as I'm just beginning my journey, but I'd say the closest moment to a teaching experience would have to be when I was in Sec 3 doing my bénévolat for the first graders at École Primaire Notre-Dame de Grasse. Basically, I was just helping tutoring them after school. And at the time, actually, and probably the following 4 years after that, I was convinced I'd become a psychologist. But that experience planted, I would say, the teacher seed in my career options because the connections and time I had with the kids were, and honestly still are, very special to me. So the main reason why it planted the seed was that I was realizing I loved the thought of these kids learning something new. It was honestly just as exhilarating for me as I'm sure it was for them when they would have that like aha moment when they understood the material. So, and I honestly believe if something brings you that much energy, because after my tutoring, I'd go home like the smile on my face and I'd be energized. That to me is a sign that you're following your soul's nature, as Plato would put it. Um, which natures meaning your passions or your interest. And by the way, I'll try not to go too off topic, but that saying to me goes for many things in life. A quick example would be the like people you surround yourself with. So, like similar to the feeling you get when you hang out with your best friend, you get back home, you're happy, you're energized, compared to that tired feeling you have when you hang out with a forced colleague, let's say. So, that to me is, yeah, like a sign. Anyways, now my second teaching experience is probably when I coached volleyball for École Secondaire de Montréal around 3 years ago. This experience honestly just reinforced my feelings towards teaching because I still had this blissful feeling when I was watching those first graders nail a math formula as I did when I saw my kids get a smash or dive for the ball for the first time or upgrade to that serve they've been practicing for weeks. And so that was really beautiful to me, and it was especially monumental because I remember at the time I was starting to realize that I might not be enjoying psychology as much as my sister, my mom, my dad did. And so I was a little troubled. But, and as you know, when you're graduating high school, you need to know what you want to go into. So, luckily, I had these experiences and I had realized that that spark I felt wasn't because those 6 or 7 year olds were so cute, but it was simply because I loved the reward of teaching. It's really nice. Um, Now, fast forward to now, I have completed my first field experience and I really had the best time. It's really fun. I learned so much about teaching and the students that you just cross your mind when you were a student in high school. And I'm honestly just so happy I found my passion, at least for now. Hopefully, I don't get burnout. That's a thing. And it was also interesting because a few of the others in my group did not feel the same way. They were actually considering changing majors, and I guess that's the whole point of the field experience. And I am really excited for them. But I'm even happier for myself because I honestly think this is really the career for me. And teaching, well, that and a few other hobbies. To get to know myself, I like to sing, I like to draw, I like to play the guitar, and I love to write. So, yeah, and this actually, my hobbies will bring me to my teaching philosophy. So, I have to say, my philosophies are strongly influenced by two people. There's Nell Noddings and Sarah Burgoyne, and they both highlight crucial values to me, which is empathy and passions. As you could tell from before, very passionate about passions. So starting off, Nell Noddings, she is a famous philosopher for education mainly, and she has a famous quote that reads, education by its very nature should help people to develop their best selves. Now, this quote resonates to me, her entire mission, which was to highlight the importance of teachers caring for their students. And this was for a multitude of reasons. I don't know if I'll have the time to go in depth on every single one, but all in all, it's because it makes learning more enjoyable and efficient for the students and makes teaching for the teachers, for that matter, also enjoyable. I find her mission to be even more crucial now, actually, than it was perhaps in the past. I feel this way because I find the school environment that we live in today to be highly competitive and honestly a little unjust. And what but a teacher that to be reinforcing that stressful atmosphere by not caring for her students or their students. Now, personally, I find changing the system on its own is really hard to do. And however, if we start bit by bit with caring teachers, I actually think that this can make education the fun and exciting learning opportunity that it always has been at its core. This was a very brief discussion on my belief in philosophies, and who knows, maybe one day I'll write a book on it and maybe it'll ripple as much as Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed, who knows. And yeah, I know it sounds ambitious as well, but I'm also aware of how empathetic the generations are becoming. Each generation, it's almost like they keep topping each other. So this goal in my mind is actually not that unattainable. So now moving on to Sarah Burgoyne. She was my CEGEP English teacher, my last English teacher actually, and she wrote a poem that is still my favorite to this day, despite being somebody who's not particularly a fan of poems. She wrote, it's just an excerpt of it, but by the way, it's a story of a leaf's journey. It says, I am teething with beams, I am likening, I am kinding from the boughs, I am minding the stem, I am lisping yellow across a coast of green, I am keeping notes on the smallest animals, I am blessing the gnarled reaches, I am filling with sea dreams, I am dancing stomatas, I am nooning my election. Now, I apologize, by the way, if I did not read that well enough. It probably was too fast. But this poem to me really this poem recites the journey of Leaf, as I mentioned before. And to me, this particular excerpt highlights the phase that teachers go in, especially the line that says, I am lisping yellow across a coast of green. To me, this describes the marks that teacher makes on every single one of their students. And whether good or bad, I think we influence students a lot and we do make a mark on them. I know through experience, and I have a feeling that the person even watching today remembers every one of their teachers, again, for good or bad reasons. And it's only natural, right? Because they're looking up to us as students. We're giving them the knowledge. And they're doing that almost every day for a whole year, so there's no wonder we make a mark. Now, because of this, I believe we are shaping their characters in line with ours. And so it's extra important, actually, in this case, to promote good qualities. This was Nell Noddings actually talks about this as well in her works. She states that caring and such should be the forefront characteristic to build empathetic students and thus a caring society. And I think she's totally right. That kind of goes again with my philosophy on empathy. Now, moving on to the passion portion. Sorry, my cat just walked in. So, additioning the line, I'm filling with sea dreams, presents the importance of dreams. Another teaching philosophy of mine is using one's passions in learning. And I feel this way for two reasons. The first one is because I find it makes learning way more enjoyable and efficient. And two, because I find it incredibly important that each individual has a passion. So to me, these passions make life that much more enjoyable. And to not know yours is almost like living your life with the lights turned off. And this is why I personally have more than one passion. I think it makes life beautiful and enjoyable. So yeah. And for me, Sarah helped me find two passions, which was writing and teaching. So one of the ways she did so was by allowing the students a lot of autonomy, which I will be doing as well in the classroom, while also she gave assignments though that we had to complete, of course. It wasn't a free-for-all. And that was very different because in every English class I had leading up to university, I mainly, and I would say 90% of the time, wrote essays or othering like a short playwright or an article, but like mainly essays. And Sarah, on the other hand, allowed any form of creative writing, and I mean any form. There was poems, you could write short stories, films even, or songs, and even essays. She accepted it all. And I was in awe to see all the students in my class different works of art, honestly. It was like watching, I wrote this metaphor down, but it was like watching each one create a vastly different painting using the same color palette. And in that classroom, I found my love of writing short stories. And it was because I had the freedom to do so and the support of a loving teacher by my side. So that is my mission now, as Nell Noddings has hers, and it's to be that teacher for other students and to help them find their light in life. So yeah, I hope this wasn't too long. I know it's like around 10 something minutes, but that's my short introduction.